Alright, welcome back to another top champions list. In this one we're covering picks for every single role in League, as well as one pick for low elo and one pick for destroying in Masters Plus. So without wasting any time, let's get straight into it with the top lane, where Garen is the single best champion to play right now if you are below Masters, as there is very little counterplay to the build we are about to unveil. For runes, you want to take Phase Rush, Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, Gathering Storm, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. These runes will give you the ability to gap close your targets with a burst of move speed and allow you to escape if you execute a combo and phase rush out. Now for the build, and this is the fun part that stomps low elo nerds. You want to start Doran's Shield or Blade depending on the matchup, with your first item being Berserker's Greaves. This is of course no surprise, as tier 2 boots give you the best early damage spike on your E, and the mobility helps a lot. Next, get Stridebreaker, as the Tiamat active comboed with your Q and E is 3 separate ability procs that trigger Phase Rush. From here, we are now going into Crit. These items will give you an insane spike in damage that will allow you to 1v9 every game you are in, as long as you are about even. Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge, Lord Dominic's Regards, Sterix. These are all of the items you will need in order to completely decimate waves, turrets, and enemies all at the same time. The reason why bruiser items or tank items aren't as useful on Garen is because Garen's best defense is a good offense. The less alive your opponent is, the less tanky you need to be. Remember to take Flash Ghost or Flash Ignite for lane dominance and utility. Now go out there and spin to win. For the top lane recommendation for those of y'all in higher elos, we have found that Tryndamere has made his way back into top lane, but it comes at a cost due to the removal of lethal tempo. This new playstyle is rather boring because it will be very macro heavy, so be warned about that. For runes, you'll be taking either Grasp or Phase Rush depending on the matchup, and for items you'll be wanting Ravenous Hydra, Phantom Dancer, and Infinity Edge. The whole concept of this new Tryndamere playstyle is to be a super heavy sustain monster that is able to take early plates with Q healing and Grasp procs. No matter what keystone you take, you need Demolish, as this is the key to slow pushing waves and getting a Demolish proc on the crash. This repeated process of pushing and healing into Demolish proc lets you power creep your way through the game, rather than Unga Bunga lethal tempo fighting your opponent. After about 3 plays, you should get a sizable items advantage to where you can start taking fights rather than only hitting the wave and getting plates. Tryndamere currently sits at a 52% win rate, so get on his macro playstyle while you can. Next up, and as always, do bear in mind that this is just a suggested champions list to help you pop off. Click the link in the description box below right now to sign up to GameLoop.com and master every single champion covered in this here video. We've got hundreds and hundreds of guides authored by challenger coaches for every role and scenario you can think up. We're talking macro guides, champion-specific courses, laning deep dives, and more. So again, hit the link below right now to sign up. Now, if you're looking for some free LP in the mid lane, then we do have a champ for you in the form of Annie. Oh yes, the original mid lane queen is back with Blackfire, Torch, and Rylai's to make her extra annoying to deal with. She currently sits at a stupid 53% win rate, and it's only getting higher. The problem with Annie in the past is that she would run into the issue of getting outscaled a bit too quickly, but with the tax evasion setup, you can use your early game advantage to skyrocket up in gold to avoid that. Annie has one of the longest attack ranges in the game, so spacing our enemies and autoing them to proc First Strike is an easy way to power creep your way through the game. Pair that with cashback for Blackfire, Torch, and Rylai's for quick bonus income, and you will be well on your way. Don't forget to pair First Strike and cashback with Treasure Hunter, as you want to be moving around the map as Annie. You are not a lane dominant champion. Shoving, getting your passive up, and roaming is the way to go pocket some easy LP right now. For high elo, Akali is mental. With so many immobile mages and squishy carries around, Akali can easily one-shot targets to snowball out of control. With the new rune Absorb Life, you can now pair it with Fleet, Doran's Shield, and Second Wind in order to never drop below 50% HP, even in the hardest of matchups. Trust us, it is crazy how much sustain there is in the game right now. Akali's one weakness was being unable to play without level 6, now you can hit that with ease. The build is going to be Lichbane, Sork Shoes, Shadow Flame, either Zhonya's or Banshees depending on the game, and Crypt Blue. Get these 4 items and you are set to 1v9 the game. The biggest tip though is to make sure to not overforce when you don't have your R. While landing a double E can easily kill a squishy, playing around your R is the best way to navigate through a team fight. Next up, if you are a jungler and you need a champion to stomp low elo games, then pick up Rek'Sai. She is back, and after nerfs to her tank build, you can make her like a bruiser once again with Stridebreaker and Black Cleaver. The reason why we suggest Rek'Sai is because she has had the same gank pattern for 5+ years, and it works every time. Do your 3 camps on red side and then tunnel behind the enemy into a free first blood. This champion is nuts after getting a lead because of the changes to her passive. The healing you get from burrowing after having a full bar makes it to where you cannot be out-sustained in the jungle. This method of early ganking and staying healthy is what you will be abusing to commit constant ganks and claim objectives. Remember, you will get outscaled as your early game is super dominant. After about a 5-kill lead for your team, start using your fed teammates to grab objectives and close out the game fast. Now for our high elo recommendation, rather than keeping it stale by saying Karthus or Lilia again, let's name a fun Apex jungler that requires a metric but ton of skill, and that is Nidalee. Nidalee in high elo has been a menace to deal with, as she has an insane clear speed and is very good at fighting immobile junglers and laners. Oh yes, the meta that includes immobile AP junglers and immobile hypercarry ADCs via this feline, as pathing nowadays is very linear. Everyone wants to full clear, so if you want to be a Nidalee player, you need to be locked in every game. That means tracking enemy jungle clears, knowing when your laners have lane prio for invades, and being very mechanically driven, as Nidalee is a very high risk, high reward pick. You can be 5-0 by 5 minutes, but if you make 1 or 2 mistakes, your whole lead could be shut down in an instant. But if you play well at 5-0, then anything that eats a spear is dead to rights. Here's the secret though that junglers are not telling you. Conqueror is Nidalee's best keystone. Not Electrocute, not Dark Harvest, Conqueror. This is because holding your spear in fights a lot of the time is better than actually trying to risk landing it. Stacking up Conqueror through Eing yourself and autoing them gradually grants you a ton of stats while they panic looking for your spear toss. Upon reaching max stacks, you can even Cougar form, jump in, and kill them without his spear. There is a lot of depth to this champion, so head on over to GameLeap if you want more tips and tricks. For ADC, there is only one champion now that Caitlyn got nerfed a bit for both low elo and high elo, and that is Jhin. While the Infinity Edge nerf does hurt a bit, Jhin still does an insane amount of damage, and his utility versus low mobility champs is far too valuable to pass up. The secret best part about Jhin is that you can work with every support, which makes him a great blind pick. You have almost zero hard losing matchups either. The build has changed a bit, as we have seen. People are dropping the Hubris Rush in order to reach 100% crit faster. So rather than turning that early Dirk into Hubris, grab a Collector. From there, pick up IE, Lord Dominic's, and Rapid Fire Cannon to hit that 100%, and finish it with a BT for a bonus 80 AD and lifesteal. And honestly, there isn't much else to say about this champion other than he is undeniably broken, so yeah, you know what to do. The support role is also a little bit bland, as these 3 champions can work for all elos, whether you are Iron or Challenger. That is Blitzcrank, Nautilus, and Thresh, because they all serve the same purpose, build the same items, they just play a little bit differently based on their mechanics. But at the end of the day, tanky hook champions are busted because of, you guessed it, immobility. The ability to snap pick a target with a hook and CC lock them into oblivion is just unparalleled right now. The builds are simple. If your ADC is ahead and the enemy has a lot of dive, rush Knight's Vow. If they are even or behind, then get a Locket. These first 2 items are interchangeable in order of purchase, but you will need both of them as your first 2 items. Next, you will buy either a Zeke's or Frozen Heart, depending on what you are facing. Versus a very auto-heavy comp, go Frozen, and if you are versus a very melee-heavy team, go Zeke's. Not much to it, honestly, other than to pick up these engage supports and yoink some free low. However, one important note, or rather a warning, do not buy symbiote boots. Those things are a scam. Some players seem to think that the mobility boots are needed, but trust me, get mech treads, tabbies, or even lucidity boots, and you will notice the difference between going fast and inting versus being tankier and engaging. And that is about going to do it for this list. As always, I invite you to drop down to the comment section below and share any nutty, busted champs that you are abusing in this patch that you feel everybody else is totally sleeping on. Make sure to head on over to GameLeap.com, linked down below in the video description, and sign up to unlock access to hundreds and hundreds of Challenger League of Legends guides. For now, do please enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching again. I'm going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later, man.